everybody. Welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the 2021 Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. We are joined today by Giles Tiger Thomas from On the Rise Media Studios, somewhere in the United Kingdom. Could be Scotland, could be England. I'm not even sure where it is. It's somewhere in the UK, I know that. So now, please welcome my co-host, my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, the Tiger, Giles Thomas. What's up, Giles?
I'm doing well, Ron. Ron, you're looking very swole there, mate. How long you been? I mean, is that a bit of CGI going on there, or
the what? GI issues? What?
A bit of CGI. You know what CGI is? Come on.
CGI? No. But I got my Arnold tank top. Maybe that's what's making the illusion.
I've got this. That's all I've got today. Is my. It's just to remind me that I'm not there at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. So. Oh, man, so sad.
Yes, you will be very, very sorely missed. I'll have Milos to do some commentary and wrap-ups and stuff, but it's not the same. It's just not the same as having Giles there. It's not. I'm sorry. No offense, Milos. I love you, Milos. But, yeah, so let's talk about this Arnold Classic. This is a strange Arnold Classic. It's September instead of March. It's only 4 divisions instead of the usual. What do they have? 20 pro divisions now, I believe. Is it 22? So it's only going to be men's bodybuilding, open bodybuilding, classic physique, women's bikini, and women's fitness. And we do have another excellent preview of the women's divisions being handled by Lauren Lotter there. You can't see her, but she's in the background. Or, can you? You can't see her on your camera, can you?
Give it a wave. Give a wave.
Yeah. So also another thing, Giles, last year at the Arnold, you were there with me, we had 4 previous winners competing. But this time we only have 1 previous winner in Bonac, but it's still a crazy good lineup. I'm very, very excited. I'm going to lead it to you. Who do you want to start with?
Oh, I can't do that to me, Ron. Come on.
Okay, let's start with the guy who just dropped out of the show because I was looking forward to seeing him. But you know what? I'm going to give up. I give up on people. Now I'm going to give him a chance. He can come back and prove me wrong. But Lionel Baeke. What the hell, Lionel? Everyone else from Europe is managing to get their ass over to Columbus, Ohio. He had problems at the last minute I think he was trying to go directly from France to the U.S. Was that the case? No?
I actually don't know, but I saw your comment, and it's kind of what everyone was thinking, you know, because it's like from the UK anyway, you have to go 2 weeks via certain countries, like say Romania, Dubai. I know James Hollinshead, to get to the Olympia. Alex Small, who else is it? Rhea Gale. They're all in Dubai because obviously there's a few Brits out there like Darren Farrell and Jamie DeRigo. So they're kind of hooking up with them and staying and they're being looked after. But I don't know what the situation is with France, but I'm assuming it's kind of similar. So you have to go to Cancun. So he'd have to go. Lionel would have to go to Cancun. Thank you, Lauren. So why can't he go to Mexico?
You want to go to beautiful place, Cancun. I've been there many times. Ooh. Oh, well. So let's stop. Well, anyway, let's move on to the people that are actually competing.
Yep.
We got to start with the 2-time champ, the guy who won last year. Definitely on paper, the favorite is William Bonac from Netherlands. Yeah, by way of Ghana. Yeah, I mean, if William Bonac shows up the way he usually shows up looking, it's going to be very, very tough for any of these other guys to beat him. What do we follow him on social media and everything. We're keeping track of how he's looking. How's William looking as far as you can tell?
All I've seen, I was speaking to, was it Patrick Tour? Yes, about this yesterday on Globe Muscle. And did you see the guest posing 2 weeks out in the Netherlands?
No.
Well, I haven't seen the video. But I have seen some photos on one of these Instagram accounts. And he looks as you'd expect. I mean, he looks, he looks as good as he always. Things with William, he's so consistent. So he looks exactly how I kind of would expect him to look. So, he kind of always, he's very consistent. He always brings a condition. He looks 2 weeks out from a big show. I'm going to play it safe, actually. For me, he is the favorite. He's the favorite to win because he's defending champion. And I think he's the odds-on favorite to win this.
I mean, defending champion, 2-time Arnold champion. He's been second place at the Mr. Olympia. Mm-hmm. He's been top 5 at the Olympia several times. I'm sure you know exactly how many times. But, yeah, he's the most accomplished competitor in this roster. So these other guys are going to have a hard time. I'm going to move down the list. I was doing it alphabetically when I did this with Jose. But with you, let's go with just front runners in that order. So the next couple guys people are talking, there's a few of them. Let's go right to Steve Kuclow. So Steve has to win this has to win this if he wants to go to the Olympia. And I know he wants to go to the Olympia because he hasn't been there since 2019. Yeah, 2018. So if he misses this, it would be 3 years between Olympias for him. And I know he doesn't want that. So we just saw him get edged out in Texas a couple weeks ago by Ian Valliere, which would make it kind of worrisome about him winning this because he has to beat Ian before he beats anybody else. But, you know, he has so many tools. He's 6'1", 285 pounds, shoulders out to here. Just such a wide, big man who comes in great condition, flat midsection, a lot of strong points. In your estimation, could Kuclow win this? I'm
not going to say he can't win this, but the kind of improvements he'd need to make to really beat all these guys in a show like this, I just don't know whether he's got. I don't know whether it's capable of happening, because if you remember in 2018, that was the year when for many years we were kind of all frustrated that he wasn't nailing it, and then he came out of the Arnold Classic in 2018 and he turned around and it was like, oh, finally he's made that, you know, like Hakeem did last year.
Yes.
You know, finally he's made that step forward. And then Steve kind of he's been good ever since, but I feel like he really needs to take a step up now. And I'll be honest, I have seen some pictures. But, you know, it's after he's trained. It's after a sports massage. It's probably when he's, you know, it's like he's vascular, he's dry. But, you know, it's like, how is that going to translate to the stage? You know, is that going to really... I think it's a tall order for him to be able to win this. I'm obviously not rooting against him, but... I mean, he did say to me on Globe Muscles months ago, and he says, I really want to win the Arnold. But it's like, you know, they all want to win the Arnold, you know? Right. And I'm not saying he can't, because he, like you said, he's 6 foot tall, he's 280. You know, he is going to bring the condition. He's not missing any body parts. But for him to be able to take a show like this, he's going to have had to have made significant improvements from Texas. And I would be very happy if it happened, but I just don't know whether. To be honest, he's not even in my top 3. Wow.
So I'm going to leave it to you.
Steve.
No, that's fine. You know, he knows that I say this all the time. I don't know why I feel the need to always repeat this, but it's not personal when we're making these predictions and evaluating physiques. Not personal at all. We love Steve Kuclow. There's some people I've praised their physiques to the heavens, and I find them to be despicable human beings. It's very rare, but it happens. Yeah. And I never bring that into this because it's got nothing to do with evaluating physique. I don't make it personal.
The thing is, take Hadi, Brandon, and Ramy. This isn't really an Arnold Classic. This is a pre-Olympia warm-up show, really. I mean, I don't even see this like an Arnold Classic. I see it like almost like a pre-Olympia Grand Prix. I know it sounds terrible, but for me, you know, this is an unusual lineup because, you know, take those Hadi, Ramy, and Brandon, you've pretty much got the Olympia lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this: if we take Bonac out of the show, if for any reason he couldn't make it to the show, something, whatever. If he's not competing, who's your favorite?
Do you know what? I've actually been... Normally, you know, we've been doing these previews, 3 years now? To 2018?
It's been a while. You know,
yeah, it's about 3 years. And normally, I don't even have to look at the names. I don't even have to look at the list. I don't have to think about it. It kind of just all falls literally in my order of what I know and, you know, what I experience. But I tell you what, I'm really struggling with this one, mate, because... You know, it's like there's guys that possibly aren't in my top 5 that could win it. Like someone like Sergio. Sergio could be someone that, if he's made significant improvements, I would not be shocked if he won it or Ian Valliere won it. But I tell you, I'm really struggling. I don't have an outright winner, and I can't even figure out who apart from William Bonac. I don't really know who I've got a definite. I'm sorry to be so wishy-washy on this one because normally, but it's such a mixed bag of competitors. So. But if I'm going to give you see, people think that Nick Walker, Ian Valliere, and Sergio could win, but I don't. But then, you know, I pretty much got it's a fight for second place for me, unless, you know. So William Bonac's going to really have to slip up to not win this, I think.
Well, let's go to Hakeem Williams. Hakeem was 6th place at the Olympia last year. He's been getting better and better. He just qualified about 6 weeks ago, won the Puerto Rico Pro. You know, we've seen this guy improve. Every year for the past 4 years, he's been getting better and better. The only thing that kind of concerns me, and it could be a good outcome or bad outcome, is he just switched coaches again. So he was working with Oscar Ardone for a few years. Yeah. Then he worked with Justin Miller, who is George Peterson coach. Yeah. Only did that one show with Justin, and now he's with Abdullah Al-Otabi.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah.
So,
completely forgot.
But he's in New Jersey and Abdullah's in Kuwait. It's not like he's hands-on like he is with the other guys in the Camel Crew who are right there at the gym with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it's going to benefit. You know, Abdullah's an excellent coach, but he's working remotely with them. It's got to be Skype and Zoom calls, FaceTime, stuff like that. So I don't know how much that plays into his advantage as far as winning this.
Well, I mean, just say they pull a miracle and they make, it's kind of like Steve Kuclow. He needs to make significant improvements to be able to win a show like this outright, to beat these other guys. You know, but Akeem's another guy that I think in 1 minute he's in my top 2, and the next minute he's out of my top 5. And I think I know, but I mean, Abdullah's a very, very good coach. I mean, he's done wonders with Brandon Curry. You know, Brandon went from being, you know, unplaced at the Olympia to 3 years later winning it. And he's working with William Bonac, and he's working with, who else is he working with? Who's the other one?
Is Vlad with him too? Sukorochko?
No, that's Ahmed Askar.
How about Rolly Winkler?
Rolly. No, that's Ahmed Askar. I think
that's Askar too.
Rolly, yeah. Okay. So I've got a third athlete in my head as well. It'll pop into my head now. Brandon.
It's Brandon Curry, yeah, obviously. So
Brandon, do it.
But I mean, you know, with you talk about improvements he needs to make, and it's with him, it's the back. And, you know, we've always wanted to see a little more lower lat development and overall back detail. And I think I saw a little bit more of that when he won Puerto Rico Pro. Yeah. You know, you can only improve that area. It takes a long time. It's not something you can fix in a matter of a month or two. So that's what he would need to really step up and get ahead of all these other guys. Because
with Akeem, it's like in terms of his conditioning, I think because he got sixth at the Olympia and Ramy got sixth at the 2018 Olympia, I think they're thinking that he can do the same, but he would have to make the same or more improvements to be able to take that kind of jump up. So I think that's why he's in people are saying he could be number 17. I don't think he's got a chance of winning the Olympia this year. I think he'd do very well to hold like top 5 or top 6. But again, I'm just really uncertain of where he'll place. I mean, a lot of people have got him sort of around second, third. I like with Steve Kuclow, I'd like to see him bring a new kind of package to the Arnold Classic, you know? And do you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping we don't see something that they all look like they're 2-3 weeks out from the Olympia. I want to see them. I want to see them looking peaked. I don't want to see them looking 3 weeks out. I want to see them bang on, you know? So it must be tough for these guys like Ian, wondering which one to peak for, you know?
Well, let's talk about a guy who doesn't seem to have a problem peaking this year, Ian Valliere. You know, Ian competed in Tampa. He looked really good. Looked even better at Texas. It was only 1 week later. And, you know, Patrick Tour is his coach, so we see him Patrick puts progress pictures up every single day. Every day you see Ian, he looks like he could get on stage that day. The body fat is all gone. He still looks big and full, thick. Doesn't seem like he's fading. He's only got to hold on to the condition for, you know, I just saw some pictures a few minutes ago. He's just got to hold that like another, not even week, 6 days as we speak. Yeah. So, you know, he is one of the favorites being talked about to win. You know, nobody on this list except for Bonac has, you know, a really totally complete physique where you can't pick it apart and say he needs more of this and needs more of that. But nonetheless, you know, people will say, well, he's got the calves or this or that, but it's not a body part show. It's a physique contest. Ian's been bringing size and crazy condition. He is one of the favorites. Do you have him as a favorite?
Yeah, I do. But I think, you know, for him to win this, he's going to have to step over people he's not beat yet. Because, I mean, his highest placing was 7th at Olympia. I actually interviewed Patrick yesterday for Global. So, and he's like, you know, he kind of gives it to me straight. You can always see the reaction on his face. He's a very honest person. And he said, look, he said, every time I'm getting updates, he said, it's like a holy shit. And he said, you know, WTF, you know, he said literally he's shocking me almost every day now. And it takes a lot, you know, especially when he's been kind of holding this kind of peak for a number of weeks. And I don't know whether these 2 wins are going to give him momentum in terms of the judging, but maybe it's given him confidence to kind of, and focus to stay on it, you know, because people say, oh, it's good to go into the, like when like whoever won the Arnold Classic in the 90s, always you'd see in Flex magazine, it'd say, you know, oh, that's they're going to win the Olympia. And it's like, well, they don't, when you're up there, you're basically judged upon who you're looking good next to, not what you won 6 months ago. So, Valliere, I mean, he's not beat Akeem yet.
Right.
You know, he's not beaten Bonac yet. I mean, he's going to have to take another significant jump up here. I mean, he only narrowly beat Steve Kuclow, and Steve Kuclow, if you look in the rankings, is a 6th placed Olympia guy in a year that wasn't really the toughest Olympia lineup we've ever seen.
True.
So he's kind of like a tier. I mean, for him to make top 3 here, that's going to mean he's going to step up from tier 2 to the absolute tier 1 and literally be considered one of the top 6 in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He'd have to get past a lot of guys he's never beaten before. Could happen, maybe not. We'll find out. You know.
Also I want to say about Ian is I want to get. It reminds me of Breon, where he doesn't look that great at the judging, and he always seems to pull it at the night show. I think for the Arnold Classic, because it's all in one day, isn't it?
Yes.
I think he's going to have to really learn how to bring his best for the pre-judging, because when you're in those kind of lineups, you're going to have to make a good, strong first impression to get called. Do you know what I mean? To be called out with the Bonacs and, you know, and like Akims and stuff like that. So I'd like to see him really bring his best for the prejudging and not the night show, because he's really, I mean, he won that Texas by a whisker. Yeah,
I believe it was 1 point, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people had Kuclow winning at the prejudging for that one.
I did, but that was based on the stream that I was watching. Once I saw the pictures, that's when you could see the detail in it, because nobody looked that conditioned on my computer monitor watching the stream video. But once the pictures were uploaded, I was like, wow, these guys are all in much better shape than I thought they were. Totally underestimated them.
Yeah.
Well, let's move to a guy. If you're an American fan and you're under the age of 30, I know who you think is going to win.
The Mutant.
You think this guy is going to make everyone else look like they don't even lift, bro. It's Nick Walker, the Mutant.
Yeah.
Man, props to him and his fans. He's got some loyal fans. The Mutant Nation. Very, very popular kid. Nick Walker, he's built like a tank. He's funny. He's down to earth. Trains like a beast with good form, I might add. I mean, there's what's not to like. But it would be a huge leap for him to go from winning, you know, New York Pro to winning the Arnold Classic, especially up against guys like William Bonac and Rolly Winkler and, you know, Sergio, Justin. This is Hassan, Kuclow. This is a really good lineup. But we don't know. We've never really seen him in this quality of a lineup. This will be the first. I'm curious to see how he looks in this type of lineup, which is very close to an Olympia lineup.
If he can make 4th to 6th here, that's a huge step up and a huge achievement. You know, like we've spoke about it before for the Olympia, and we think 6th to 8th, and that would be a massive achievement. But, you know, he's in with, like he said, take away a couple of names, you know, and you've pretty much got the Olympia lineup. So, you know, beating Justin Rodriguez at the New York Pro, you know, to doing this show, you know, I think and if he's improved and he beats some of these bigger names, you know, really that are more established and been around longer than him and who've done multiple Olympias, that's going to be a huge feather in his cap. I think it's going to be a bigger achievement than winning the New York Pro. And then winning the New York Pro, that's a huge achievement itself. But do you know what? Do you know the thing with Nick Walker? How has he built his popularity so fast? Because he only turned pro last year at the North Americans. 4th in Chicago a few weeks later. You know, he's not really... I was looking on his Instagram today because I was doing some edits for Global Muscle. And I was just thinking, like a year ago, it was. So I'm just interested to see where he falls and just to see how good he is. But I think the fans are probably a year to 2 years ahead of themselves. Yeah,
but you know what? It's great that they're so supportive of their favorite bodybuilder. Every bodybuilder should be lucky enough to have fans that are that appreciative and supportive of them. And the kid looks fantastic. Yeah. I'm curious to see.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, anything 5th, 6th place, anything beyond that would be amazing, and you know, just something to celebrate. So I hope if he gets like 3rd or 4th, I hope his fans are happy about that, and they're like, you know, good job, Nick, instead of the judges are idiots and they're blind and they don't know what they're looking at, and we'll see. But so the next guy I want to talk about is Sergio Oliva Jr. We haven't seen Sergio since the last Arnold. It was a year and a half ago. He was 5th place. And the one thing that I think we both agreed on is he needed more back thickness, more lower lat development, because from the front, he's deadly. But we saw room for improvement. I was privileged enough to see some progress pictures that are just a couple days old. Jose Raymond shared with me. I can't share them. They're from his coach, Chris Aceto. But I would estimate his back is 20% better than what we saw last time. And if that translates to the stage, a Sergio Oliva with a much better back, you know, he's been talking about winning this show all year long, This has been the only thing. He hasn't even mentioned Olympia. It's all been Arnold. I know he wants to win this. So with a better back than what we saw on him before, what do you think?
Oh shit! So what poses was he hitting in the photos? Can you tell me?
Yeah, he did a rear double. I saw, it was all 7 mandatory poses. So I saw the rear double bicep and the rear lat spread. To be honest, the rear lat, I still would like to see more drop in the lower lats. That's not exactly where I'd want to see it quite yet. But his rear double, very, very strong pose for him.
Okay. So what does Sergio compete at? What body weight?
I want to say about 270, 275.
Yeah, because I like I said at the Arnold Classic last year, when he came out next to Ramy, I didn't realize how big he was. Because that's the first time I'd actually seen... No, that's a lie. I saw him at the Olympia, but we didn't really see much of him because it was just in those comparisons, wasn't it? He didn't get to do his posing routine. But I didn't realize how big... When I saw him next to Ramy, that's when I realized how big he is. And he's conditioned, and he's symmetrical, and he's great presentation. And the thing is, he does improve every single time. So, but I think we're going to have to see real significant improvements for him to really be a factor here. But, at the same time, I still think he could be a dark horse for a very, very good placing. That sounds like a total contradiction, I know. But, no. But I think because we haven't seen him since March last year. I mean, he was 5th last year, and he felt he should have beat Steve Kuclow. And a lot of people... Who did I speak to yesterday? Was it who did I speak to? I spoke to somebody on Glow Muscle yesterday, and he said he had Sergio 3rd that year, last year. He had him, and he had Ramy in 5th.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was, I think it was Michael Bryson from This Is Bodybuilding. And so so if he's made significant improvements since then. Yeah, I think he's I don't know, he's a bit like Hakeem as well. Like he does need to improve his back, but he's got better condition than Hakeem. I'd like to see him and Hakeem and Steve Kuclow called out together. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Rolly Winkler because Rolly, when I saw him in Chicago Pro, how many of those do you have?
I got the full set. They sent me the full set from Australia, yeah.
Do you have the new Natalia Coelho one?
I don't have that one, no.
Okay, well, that's fine. You'll get it. Don't worry. But, going back to Rolly, when I saw him at the Chicago Pro, which was in Atlanta, I believe. Tampa? No, Atlanta. I thought he was done. I thought this was the beginning of the end. He's had a great run. And I said, well, his body's finally giving out on him. It's not responding to everything the way it used to. Then you were in Alicante 3 weeks later, I believe it was.
Yep, 3 weeks.
And somehow he managed to put on a lot more. I don't know. What would you say? He was about 50% of the size that he had lost. It looked like he had regained all of a sudden.
Well, I've said it a few times. I said if he was 50% in Chicago, he was 85% of the Rolly that we all know and love, from 2018 and, in the Prague and the Olympia. And I've never seen that kind of apart from Austin Carr in 1 week. But in 3 weeks.
Austin didn't put a bunch of size back on.
But I mean, just in terms of like dramatic improvements, And I mean, he was probably 85%, but I'm just thinking if he could do that, I'm fingers crossed, if he could do that again, then you can't have Rolly out of the top 5. It's just an impossibility. And the thing is, we've never seen Rolly bring his best to the Arnold Classic when it's in March.
Right.
But he's been really on full-on prep now. Do you know what I mean? He's done a few shows. He's done Chicago. He's done Alicante. He got his ass kicked and he got a reality check in Chicago and he realized he really needed to, and obviously probably the extra time in the gym and all that really, well, we saw what happened in Alicante. So if he just say, let's go to the Twilight Zone, just say he could do that again. I mean, I'm saying he's my dark horse, definitely.
Well, I mean, if he's capable of bringing that look that he had, say, at the 2018 Olympia where he was 3rd place, and some people had him
game over
second place. The only person to push him would be Bonac.
Yeah.
And it'd be quite a battle. It'd be the two top pros from the Netherlands going at it. But I'm curious to see if he's able to get even better from Alicante to now. Because how many weeks ago was Alicante? You were there.
5 weeks.
Oh, I mean, if he made that much of a change in 3 weeks and he's had another 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible.
I'm telling you, because I didn't think it was possible. When he came out in Alicante, we're in the live stream, I was just like, holy shit. As soon as he walked out, I could see that the fullness and the things were popping and the veins were popping on his triceps. And I was like, as soon as he walked out, before he'd even hit a pose, I knew that he was a lot better than Chicago because I could just tell because I watched the live stream because he just looked deflated and terrible in Chicago. But and then when he opened up, it was like, yes, that's what we wanted to see in Chicago, and it happened. So if he can possibly do that again, then he's in contention for the win. Honestly, I really do. Or if he doesn't, he's going to be like 7th or 8th, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, he's qualified for the Olympia anyway, so he would go on to the Olympia regardless. But yeah, that's my dark horse too. If he looks like the Rolly we know and love, the Dutch Beast, if that Rolly shows up at this show, Bonak's the only one that's going to have a chance, honestly.
Yeah.
So the next guy I want to talk about, Giles, is Justin Rodriguez. Justin's having a really good year. He won his first pro show at the Indy Pro. Isn't it kind of hard to believe that was his first pro win out of all these shows? I've seen him so many times, and he's always been like 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
4th, but finally won a show and then got edged out by Nick Walker at New York Pro. But he still looked fantastic. At a show of this level, you know, we got some amazing guys up on that stage at this Arnold Classic, but Justin's got an incredible physique, plenty of size, great shape, symmetry. Some of his poses, like that front double bicep with a little angle, beautiful shot. Yeah, I mean, Justin's definitely going to be a pick, one of my picks for top 5. Beyond top 5, I can't say where I have him though.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge Justin Rodriguez fan. I mean, when we saw him at the 2018 Arnold Classic and he was 7th, and it was like he was kind of an unknown, you know. It was like I was amazed he even got the invite and he got 7th, and I just thought, this guy, he's got aesthetics. He's like a new Victor Martinez,
yeah, but
bigger. You know,
yeah.
I mean, and if you I saw a readable bicep a couple of weeks ago, and it looked like the arms and shoulders had been photoshopped. Literally, yeah. I mean, in the readable bicep. But you know what with Justin? Another thing is, I've said this many times. At 4 weeks out, he looks like he's 10 weeks out. But every single time I've seen pictures and videos of him at 2 weeks out, and I'm like, oh mate, you need to pull out. And he does. He always pulls it round. He absolutely pulls it out the bag every single time. He must be one of these physiques that maybe when he puts the sodium in, he gets very watery, and then when he sucks it out and drops the water, maybe he just tightens up. But I mean, he obviously knows his body that well, and obviously his coach does. But I got another dark horse then. Yeah. See what I mean? I'm all over the place with the Arnold Classic this year, because there's a guy, I would love to see him take a few of the big names out as well, because he's someone I'm really rooting for. Because like you said, how has he only won one pro show? You know?
He's got, I think the last time I interviewed him, I tallied it up. I think he's taken 2nd place 6 or 7 times. He's taken a lot of 3rd places. He's been so close. But, you know, these shows are tough. Once you get into the top 3, 4 guys at any decent pro show, it's like splitting hairs. You could shuffle them around and not too many people would be upset, really.
He's got Chris Cormier Arnold Classic syndrome, it's called.
That was 6 runner-ups in a row, right?
Oh, Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Dexter Jackson. Oh, poor guy.
Insane, yeah. So, Justin, let's move on to Hassan Mustafa. So, wow, this guy's done a lot of shows this year. Yes. This is like number 7 or 8 show for Hassan this year. He just keeps going and going like an Egyptian Energizer bunny. But I don't see him either getting better or worse from show to show, really, by much. He's massive. Just, you know, Jose said he believes he's the biggest guy in bodybuilding right now, pound for pound. Just the amount of muscle he carries on his frame is superior to any other man right now competing.
I'd love to see the height per inch next to Rami, or what it works out as. The actual, like, the mass of the, what's it called?
He put on more size he's another one, because he's coached by Aceto too. He said it's the most bizarre thing. I don't know if that preview is going to go before this one, but they'll do things like cut his carbs and he still puts weight on. He was like, it doesn't make any sense. He was like 285 last week.
What? Well, do you know what? 2 things. I spoke to Austin Carr, who's been training at the Dragon's Lair, and obviously Hassan's there. And he said, Giles, he says, Hassan, I don't know what he's doing, but the last few weeks he has just grown. And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, he's on prep. And he says, no, he's growing. He's expanding. I was like, okay. And then something made me really nervous the other day. I saw an Instagram post, and I'm hoping it's off season. It's or an old picture, because he looked really way out and really soft and really kind of like he'd stopped dieting. And I'm fingers crossed that's an old picture.
Oh, wow.
Please let it be an old picture, because... But Hassan, I'm a huge Hassan fan. I think he's made big strides this year. He's kind of one of those. He's one of those guys that he's taking those steps forward, but we want to see him take bigger steps. But then again, maybe he's one of these guys that the more shows he does, the better he gets. You know, so
it's rare. It's rare for a big guy, but we see it with Valliere, so it can be done.
Yeah.
You know, some big guys can't peak more than once a year. Like Ronnie was a great example. He was good for one show a year, and that was it, really. But Hassan, like I said, he doesn't seem to be fading. If he brings in that condition, he better, because there's a few men on this stage that there's no doubt they're going to be shredded to the bone. You know, Ian's going to be shredded, Kuclow, Max Charles, who we'll talk about in a minute, Bond. You better bring the condition, Hassan. You better. And if you do,
it's an order.
I'm not trying to warn him or anything, but I'm just saying, all that size and shape, man, I want to see that dialed in, grainy, dry, striated. I want to see 100% Hassan Mustafa.
I mean, imagine him being like last call out. You know what I mean, at the Arnold Classic, because if there's that many good names and they're all bringing it and he doesn't bring it, you're going to see a really fantastic bodybuilder just being ignored, and it's just going to completely destroy him. So I really hope that he brings the best version of him that we've seen this year. I mean, imagine if he just brought something that completely blew our minds, and he's literally in first call out next to Akeem and Ian and Bonak. You know what I mean? That would be pretty cool.
I'd love it. He didn't speak English, but man, he's such a nice guy. You know, his wife translates for him and everything, but just a nice, quiet, humble guy, always smiling, loves his little daughter to death. He's a hell of a nice guy. And, you know, they took a big chance moving to, I think they're here for, it seems like they're here for good now.
They've not gone back. They've not gone back, have they? Because I was thinking that the other day. I was thinking, has he moved here permanently now?
Maybe they don't even know it, but I think they have. They haven't been back. I don't think they've been back to Egypt since like April.
Yeah, same with that Mohammed as well, Elamam. I don't think he's gone back, has he?
I mean, I hope not, because that's too far to go. Yeah. So let's move on. Let's go to the next giant Egyptian, because there's several of them in our sport right now, including Mr. Olympia. But Mohammed El Imam, he's living in St. Petersburg, Russia. Got to make that clear. He's not coming from Egypt, but you know, I think you said this the other day, or you said this in a recent Global. He looked the best probably at Indy when he almost beat Justin.
Fantastic.
And not getting better as the shows went by. He seems like he's fading. And, you know, you were speculating it's maybe because he is here in the U.S., might not have, you know, an entourage of people helping him get to where he needs to go, all the things he needs to do. But I don't know if it's a smart thing for him to keep going, or if he should have shut down. But once you're committed to the he wanted to get to the Olympia. I'm not sure if he's still in the Olympia, because he had the points, but then I think he might have got edged out by Vlad.
I'd have to go and check. But Mohammed is one of these guys, because he puts a lot of like posing videos out and stuff like that, and one minute he's doing this and the next minute he's doing that, and then he's up again, and it's like his legs look soft and his back looks squishy and he looks smaller and flatter, and the next time you see him it's like, it's like I can't get a gauge on whether he's slipping or, because every time you see him he's one minute he's slipped, next minute he's back, and you got to admire the fact that this guy is just absolutely, like Hassan's just gone for it, isn't he? He's just kept going. And I love Mohammed. And I think this is because he got fourth in Romania last year. And before that, I mean, I think he'd done Chicago. But, you know, I remember I said to you, he's done Chicago. And has he? And you were at that show. Yeah. So he made no impression on you. But now you certainly know who he is, don't you?
Oh, dude! At the Indy Pro, he impressed me so much. I was kicking myself. I said, "How did I not notice this guy before?" Yeah, because he's massive. He was in great condition, huge shoulders, chest, quads, just a big, thick, rugged physique. But he has to be in shape.
But you know what? He's like you think you got someone like Stu Kuclow at 280, 6 foot, and you put him next to Mohammed, you wouldn't believe there's 50, 60 pounds difference.
Well, I think you know, he's probably, I'm 5'7.5". I think he's about my height. Yeah. He might be a little taller.
He looks taller.
Every time I talk to, me and Jose and I do previews, we argue about people's height. We spend half the preview arguing about, like, he's trying to tell me Hassan is only 5'7". Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's taller than that, but
who? Sorry, who?
Mustafa. He's trying to tell me Hassan is only 5'7".
Hassan Mustafa. I think he's shorter, isn't he?
He's not shorter than 5'7". There's no way, because I mean, I've stood next to him several times.
I thought he'd be. Anyway, I thought he was about 5'5", 5'6".
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
No. Definitely, he's definitely taller than that. I think you're thinking of Hadi Chupan.
Nope.
But
nope.
Yeah, Mohammed's about 5'9", about 250. Just, you know, he's got one of those real dense, rugged Branch Warren type of physiques. You know, aesthetically, it's not the prettiest. and he does have to really watch his midsection. If he doesn't keep that under control, it's a detriment.
What was the show when he was letting out? Was it Chicago when he really just kind of let it rip?
It was either Chicago. The shows are all like a blur to me now, but I think it was Chicago where he came out for his routine, and it was just the belly was out. I'm like,
you can't do that. You can't do. And
I
also,
could see if. Wow, yeah. I mean, everyone's looking, dude. Everyone's looking at. When people come, when they're doing their posing routine, they're first walking out. Everybody's on the edge of their seats. Like, what does he look like? What does he look like? You do not want to have your gut hanging out at that moment in time.
Yeah. So hang on. Did you just say 5'9", 250?
I think that that's my guess.
I think he's 5'7", 225.
Is everybody shorter than I think they are?
I'm pulling a Jose on you now, mate. Sorry, I don't want to split hairs.
No,
I mean the guy. But my point is, he looks bigger than that. He looks like he does look 5'9", 250. If I was to estimate by looking at pictures and video, I'd say, oh yeah, 5'10", 250, 260.
He's not 225. I'll bet you, how many quid or pounds or whatever you got for money over there. But okay. You don't have the euro, right? No.
Nope.
You didn't go for that.
Nope.
Anyway, he's a big dude. I just want to see him in shape. Yeah. Let's move on to Milos' guy in the show, Max Charles. Yay. With 2 X's. Max impressed the hell out of us. It was last year's Arnold, right?
Yeah, last March, yeah. 8th.
Yeah. I mean, we were right there in the front, 1,000 splinters across his chest. We were so impressed with the abs because he had like 40 layers of veins crisscrossing and intersecting all over his abs. Serratus was just etched in. Crazy condition. His legs are getting a little better. To me, they're still not what I would want to see. I want to see when somebody has shoulders and upper back as wide as Max does.
Yeah.
He's a tall, very wide man. You need to have crazy quad sweeps to really give you that X-frame. I don't know if he's ever going to have that, but he's getting closer. I don't know how he's going to fare in this level lineup. I hope he gets a good look and a good placing because I can tell he's been getting a little discouraged the past few shows at not getting higher placings.
Yeah, I disagree with what you say, but I think his legs are okay. I think it's his back that's the problem. But then we had. I know that he wasn't posing it properly, but for me, that's those back shots. They're not as good as his side and his front. But I mean, I would just love to see him bring what he brought last year. I mean, because even if you don't get the placing, maybe you like a top 6 or a top 3 that you want, at least you can do yourself proud in a really big show, and you can walk away and say, right, yeah, I nailed it again. So if he doesn't bring kind of what he brought last year, though, and he doesn't get a good placing, it's not going to be good for him. But the thing is, he's a guy that's someone we kind of overlook and we do underestimate. So, I mean, what if he brought something that was even better than last year? Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, he's been around so long and he's been plugging away for years and years now. The clock's ticking. He's not showing any signs of wear and tear. You don't see torn body parts. He's not losing legs or anything like that. But he is. I think he's 44 years old. So Max needs to make it happen pretty soon because his career it's in the final quarter. Let's say.
Okay.
He doesn't have another 10 years of competing left. So I hope he really brings out a crazy package, gets a great placing. Last but not least, from South Korea, someone a year ago, I couldn't even remember this guy's name. I can actually spell it and remember it now because I'm very impressed with him. Sung Chul Lee. Yeah, Sung. I'd like to see him leaner than I've seen him at the past few outings. Seems like he doesn't always get dark enough with the color.
Yep.
But man, very beautiful physique, size, shape, proportions, and like every Korean, no offense, Koreans, massive legs and calves. They always have great legs. Always. Yeah.
Did you see the pictures that he posted today or yesterday? The most recent ones.
No.
Neil Hill's prepping him.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he's been at the Dragon's Lair, and I saw some pictures a few weeks ago, and it was the Lee Seung-chul that we've seen at the Olympia when he got 12th Olympia, but when he won Korea, great. But, he needs to get more detail and kind of a bit more fullness. And, but everything's kind of there. Everything's there. The silhouette's there. And I tell you what I saw on those pictures yesterday, what he's done just from the pictures he posted before, it was dramatic, mate. It was, he really is. There's something going on in his physique that wasn't going on at the Olympia last year or at when he got 6th at Chicago. He got top 6 as well in Chicago. That was good. But I tell you what, you're going to see the best version of him ever this year for the Arnold Classic because whatever Neil's been doing with him, with the training and the diet and stuff, it's definitely worked. And I was really excited when I saw that today.
Yeah, well, Yoda knows his stuff, doesn't he? Yoda.
Yep.
That's what we call him. All right, that is open. We're not going to talk about everybody in Classic. We are going to. I do want to touch on a few of the top picks. The few picks I have for possible winners. Let's start with 5th place at last year's Olympia, Brian Jones, because good Lord, this guy is blown up.
Good Lord, Lord Jones.
Lord Jones.
Good Lord.
Brian, if you're watching this, come on, man, answer my messages.
No. Answer mine first, please, because I've been messaging you probably even longer.
Either one.
I've got his telephone number. I've WhatsApped him. I've DM'd him, and he doesn't even read them. So this guy, obviously, I think he's lost his phone.
Yeah, it's got to be that, right? But yeah. I mean, we've had this argument: is this too big for Classic? But he still has a tiny, tiny waist, very small joints. It is a Classic physique. It's just so much fuller and rounder than what we're used to seeing in that division. We're used to seeing that type of muscle pop on the open guys who carry, another 30, 40, 50 pounds of muscle. But this is like the biggest, there's a few guys. Tim's is a big dude too. But man, Brian Jones, I'm so impressed with this guy. Right now, he's my, we'll get to Terrence in a minute, but along with Terrence, he's my favorite to win this.
Do you know what, though? Yes, he is too big for Classic, in my opinion, for what the Classic is kind of, the kind of physiques that they want. But if he's under the weight limit, he's under the weight limit. And it doesn't matter whether we disagree with it or not. He's Classic, because we've had this argument with George Peterson and all these different other athletes. And it's like, but the thing is, how the hell is he making the Classic weight? He must have helium in his bone. Sometimes you get these guys that, I don't understand. Like, if you compare him next to Chris Bumstead, I mean, he looks 3 times the size of Chris Bumstead. It looks like putting a proper open bodybuilder next to a Classic guy. I mean, I don't understand. But, I mean, I love this guy's physique. I mean, do you see when he hits that frontal bicep? I mean, it's just like, it's sensational.
Insanity.
But you know what? He's like Bruce Timms. That's Batman.
Robert Timms?
Robert Timms, yeah. So Bruce Timms is a Batman comic artist. Yes, and there's another guy who just think, how, like, that real bicep, and you think, it looks like Joel Stubbs.
Yeah.
Not Stubbs.
But George Peterson was the same way.
Yeah.
You would never, standing next to George, you would never believe he was 192 pounds when he was in Classic.
Yeah.
It just boggled. I'd stand next to him, and, at the time, I would be like 220 or something. I'd be, how is this guy 20 pounds lighter than me? He looks so enormous, but it's got to be the bones.
Yeah.
The bones have to be like bird bones, hollow or something. I don't know.
And daily colonics.
But let's move on to Rough Diesel. 2nd place at the Olympia, 2nd place at this show last year. So he's definitely one of the favorites. I mean, look, the only guy that's beat him at the Olympia last year was Chris Bumstead.
Yep.
We follow him quite a bit. He's another guy that, to me, he kind of looks behind at times when I see him in his progress pictures.
Yeah.
Because he's not one of those guys who impresses you on Instagram and then looks like crap on stage. He's more like someone you're worried about when you see him on Instagram, and then on stage, like, oh, okay, he's fine. Don't worry about him. I mean, is he your favorite or one of your favorites?
Well, forget about the Arnold Classic. Him and Chris Bumstead are my favorites overall in the Classic. But I think the John Meadows thing had to have affected him, and I completely understand that. But a few weeks ago, was it 3 weeks out from this show, I saw some pictures. I was like, mate, I think you should pull out of the Arnold and just go concentrate on the Olympia. Because I think he was 5 weeks out from the Olympia, 3 weeks out from this. And I was panicking. I was like, you could do it in 5, but you can't do it in 3, and then come home and then get another 2 weeks. But you know what? The pictures he posted the other day, some of them that he's posted, I thinking, okay, I think he's going to make it, but he's probably had a really rough few weeks on prep, and he's really had to really knuckle down with the cardio and stuff. And I bet it's been quite stressful, because when you're looking, they're not all Justin Rodriguez. They can't look soft as anything 2 weeks out. Someone like him, especially Classic, when you've got a weight, you've got a weight limit to make and everything. But the recent pictures, I think he's going to make it, but I think he's going to make it by hours. So I would love
skin of his teeth, as we say.
But I think Brian Jones, I think that's the one he really needs to worry about, because he'd have to be at his best. At his best, he would beat Brian Jones, because to me he's more of a class. He is Classic. But I'm going to be very interested to see how Terrence looks next to Brian. Well,
I would be very remiss if I didn't. I should have probably led with him, because he's the reigning champion. Alex Cumbernero, I love him. I love him and his wife. They're wonderful people. Alex won the show last year. He was 4th place at the Olympia. coached by Neil Hill. I believe he's still with Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Trains at the Dragon. Does he train at the Dragon? No, he's in Florida. Doesn't train at the Dragon's Lair. You don't have to train at the Dragon's Lair, everybody, but apparently it's an awesome gym.
Well, he's been.
Yeah, he's been there. He's got to be a favorite for this. He has to be because he's beautifully proportioned. He did very well as a 212 bodybuilder. Had a few wins there. He's had a few wins as a classic physique pro, and you have to have him as a favorite for this, just based on what he's done.
I'd be super shocked if the three names are just Lord Jones, Terence Ruffin, and Alex Cameron were not top three. It just, I mean, that and that could go any way. But Alex Cameron, I mean, obviously it's the conditioning I like. It's the condition. It's that top to toe. I think he'll be the most polished. I think he's going to be the best conditioned. But do you know what I mean? I think Terence Ruffin's going to have the better lines, and then you got Brian Jones who's going to have the more kind of like sensational kind of like bodybuilder like physique. So it just depends what they're kind of really wanting to go for. But he's got to be one of the favorites going in. I mean, he's the current champion.
I honestly think classic is much harder to judge than open or 212 bodybuilding because there's such a wide variety of different looks you see in classic.
Yeah.
Like how do you put Alex Cambronero, he's about 5'6", 5'7", 190 pounds. You put him next to a Timms who's 6 foot, 225 pounds, or and you have to pick a winner out of these. I think it's much, much harder. Let's move on. Talk about courage. I keep wanting to give him a fan. Sergio Para. So he's done this twice and he's been third place both times.
Yeah.
Not a lot of hype. I did grab an interview with him last week that went up. So he's looking really good, but nobody's talking about him because he doesn't hype himself up at all.
Yep.
I don't think he has a sponsor, so he's sort of under the radar, but he could surprise a lot of people, I think, at this show.
He'll be first call out. He'll definitely be first call out. I really rate this kid. He's only young, isn't he? He's like mid-20s, early 20s.
Like 27, 28. Yeah, he's still very young.
Yeah, and he's got a beautiful physique. And like you said, he's one of these under the radar guys. He kind of reminds me of where Keon was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Well, he could just all of a sudden just flourish, but he's like Terence Ruffin. He's got the way he angles his body, and he's a perfect classic really. And he's another guy who comes in very late as well. He kind of look a few weeks out and he looks nothing special, and you see him on stage and it's like, wow, he really kind of catches your eye. Yeah,
I mean, this should be a lesson, everybody. Don't let Instagram dictate your contest predictions because you'll be wrong most of the time. I saw because as soon as when I was researching him for the interview, I looked on his Instagram like, oh no, he's not looking that great this far. He's this close to the show. But then I saw more recent pictures, and you're right, he's pulling it together.
Yeah, nice physique.
Just a couple other guys, Danny Unin, who we've both done interviews with. Danny's been top 60 Olympia a couple times. He's won some shows.
New York Pro.
Very, very. Yeah, he won the New York Pro. That wasn't even long. And that was after going through COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Just a couple months before that. So he's had a few more months, healthy and training and doing all that good stuff. So Danny might be a surprise.
And he's been, because he works with George Farah, but he's also been doing some stuff with Chris Cormier. And Chris said there's been big changes in his physique the last few weeks. I had him on Glow Muscle a couple of weeks ago, and he said, tell you what, watch out for Danny. He said he's, maybe it's just having the extra support with George there as well, and having somebody to really have eyes on him and train him in the gym. And he said, no, seriously, watch. And I had seen some pictures of Danny because he posts a lot on social media, but he's looking really good. And I really think he's a really good example of classic. So I think I would say definitely he will be even better than he was at the New York Pro.
Yeah, I mean that could put him over the edge. I mean, I wouldn't write him off for the win. It could happen. Next guy I want to talk to about real quick is Logan Franklin, because Logan was supposed to win the Texas Pro on paper. I had him as an easy winner, and you're the one that reminded me at the last minute. What about this Robert Timms guy? I'm like, nah, Robert. Oh well, he's Robert Timms. He hasn't competed for a couple of years. Don't worry about him. But Logan, he ended up. That was a 1-point decision. Logan looked fantastic. And I know he'd love to win this. He's had, he made the shirts up. Their shirts say Arnold is numero uno.
Yeah.
He has shirts say Logan is numero uno.
I like the confidence. I like it.
And he's put up, Arnold is sort of his inspiration. He does a lot of Arnold poses, and he's put up kind of split screen photos of himself and Arnold in the same poses.
Okay.
And I remember about a year and a half ago, we were talking on Messenger or something. He said, you know what? I need an Arnold chest. I'm going to go back to working my arms, because he had backed off his arm training for a while. He goes, I want the Arnold biceps, the Arnold chest. And he's managed to build a very modern version of the Arnold physique. If Arnold was a classic physique, so not that much lighter.
So who would you think would beat who? The European version of Arnold, Wesley Vissers, classic, or Logan Franklin? Who's better?
Oh boy,
I get you on the spot now.
Oh boy, they're both very, very good.
Yeah,
I tend to think Wesley's just bigger, taller, broader, bigger.
Yeah.
I'd probably give that one to Wesley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Logan's,
we'll see.
But Logan's very good, like you said. I mean, Milos was raving about him a few weeks ago because he's been working with him in Vegas. And like you said, I think fantastic physique, fantastic example of classic. He brings great color, great conditioning, great symmetry. I mean, I tell you what, this is going to be a battle to make top 6. This classic Arnold. I think.
Yeah.
Arnold
I mean, two excellent European competitors. They don't have huge fan bases in the U.S., but man, either one of these guys could definitely be a surprise.
Yep.
Austria's Fabian Mayer, he's excellent.
Very good.
And Peter Molnar from Hungary, he's no slouch.
Holy shit. Okay. Well, Fabian won in Alicante, and that was one of the best classic lineups I've ever seen, and he won that.
Weren't there like 30 guys or more?
Oh, but the standard right throughout, it was absolutely incredible. Really, really good. Really like shocking, like almost as like some of the Arnold Classics we've seen. Where the like 20 of the guys, you think, okay, how do they even get the pro cards?
So who would beat who, him or Wesley Vissers?
I think Wesley.
Wesley, you're doing great today, Wesley, in your predictions.
Yeah.
And he's not competing till the Olympia.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great lineup. There's a couple other guys. I'll just mention their names. DeAndre Campbell's very good. Jarek Crew, I'm not too familiar with, but he looks good in a couple pictures. Tony Tavares, I've seen him before. But these two divisions alone, open bodybuilding and classic physique, worth the price of admission alone. I'm very, very psyched about this. I'm bummed that you're not going, though.
Are you going? You're going, yeah?
Of course. Come on. Don't be ridiculous.
Is it going to be weird, though, going to Columbus and it's not bloody freezing?
To me, Columbus is never that cold. Because
really?
I mean, I'm coming from the same exact climate. So if I go to a warmer place, it's like, oh wow, it's like a big treat. But I'm just going from one cold place to another usually. But I do remember us being caught in that snowstorm at the after party.
Oh, with the little guys. What's the acceptable word?
Little people.
Little people. Yeah, they took our cab.
But they were professional wrestlers. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we gave them our cab, and then we were stood there, literally freezing to death in Columbus.
And you didn't have a coat.
Yeah.
You had like one of those, like your sport coat. It's like 25 degrees out and snowing. Oh, Giles, what are you doing? Anyway, so just to let you guys know, we're doing full coverage of this all day and night Saturday. So check out the YouTube channel. Are you guys going to be doing something with the stream?
Yep.
Are you going to comment on that?
Yep, we are.
So there'll be live commentary on the stream. Giles, Lauren, a few other people, some notables doing expert commentary on the video stream. And we'll be on site, myself, Hector, Milos, Team MD, doing play-by-play interviews, all that good stuff. So musculardevelopment.com, we'll be doing play-by-play on the Noble forums. And, of course, this channel, the YouTube channel for Muscular Development, tons and tons of content coming out this weekend. So keep it right there, guys. That's the only place, the only destination you need to head to. Well, that's it. I thank you so much for giving this professional production from On the Rise Media Productions. Yeah, a little better than my little contraption I have back here in front of me. But you will be there in spirit, Giles. I know you will. I'll keep you posted and everything. But yeah, it's going to be a great show. Looking forward to it very much. It's the Arnold Classic, guys. Come on, how can it not? It's always a great show. Yeah. All right, that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching the Arnold Classic preview with Giles Tiger Thomas and me, online editor Ron Harris, and we'll see you next time.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Muscular Development. My name is Lauren Lotter and I am part of the Buff Bombshell with Emma Hindman. Today I'm going to give you my top 5 predictions for the US Arnolds in the fitness and bikini category, and we are going to kick it off with the fitness. But before I do, I just want to give a shout out to the guys Ron Harris and Giles Tiger Thomas who have done the predictions for the men's category, so make sure you guys go and watch that one. But for now we're going to go do fitness, and I hope that you guys enjoy this. So I'm going to go from my top 5 to my top top number 1. But before I do that, I just wanted to give a big shout out to all 10 contestants who will be taking place at the Arnold's US. We've got Jaclyn Baker, Darian Borrello, Amanda Ciani, Oksana Grishina, Whitney Jones, Sally Kendall-Williams, Ariel Kadar, Minapol Hati, Missy Triscott, and Ulrika Tyrgale. So in my top 5 placing, I'm going to go with Jaclyn Baker. Now, Jaclyn Baker is somebody who is, well, I think she's pretty incredible, but she hasn't yet seen the placing that she deserves yet. And I think that she has been working really, really hard. In terms of physique standard, I think that she is definitely getting there, and her skill set is really on top of her game for now. So I want to see her nab that top 5 placing, because I think she's got some serious skills to be able to go in and do this. So good luck to you, Jaclyn Baker. You were 4th at the Olympia in 2020, and I think 8th in 2019. So let's just quickly check that out. 4th in 2019 and 5th in 2020. So I am corrected. But good luck to you, Jaclyn Baker, and I hope that you get that top 5 placing. In my 4th place, I'm going to go with Whitney Jones. I think Whitney is an incredible athlete. She's so high energetic. She's just amazing. She is also a Miss Olympia fitness winner. But I do think that for me, she is going to be somebody that sort of places maybe a little bit lower down in the Arnolds this year. I don't know why, but this is just my honest feeling and my honest prediction, because that's what it is. So good luck to you, Whitney. I'm not sure who this kid is. Oh, but he seems like fun. But no, Whitney is just an incredible athlete. She just seems to persevere through a lot of struggles, and she's very open about a lot of things. So I do admire that quality about her, and I just think she's just an amazing athlete all round. And she just, like I said, she's got amazing high energy, and that's what you want from a fitness competitor, because they have to do a very long routine, which is skill set based, and it's got to be really up there. So good luck to you, Whitney, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with. In 3rd place for me, my favorite fitness competitor of all time, I'm going to say Oksana Grishina. Now, Oksana always brings fitness routines of an artistic quality, but I'm not so sure if it's going to be enough to really pull her through and actually win that top placing. She is somebody who I have admired for such a long time. And if you look at her Arnold history in this sport, she has come from 2008 all the way up to 2017, just before she retired for 2 years. And she has just gone from strength to strength, taking 10th place all the way up to 1st place in 2017. So she is somebody that is just really improved with everything that she's done. But in terms of her actual physique and what it's looking like at this moment in time, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to maybe give her the top placing that she once had. So Oksana, I love you very much, and MD loves you very much. But yes, I'm going to say that for now, I want to see what you come up with, and I cannot wait to see your beautiful artistic routines that you always come through with. And then in 2nd place, my dark horse for 2nd place. So I really think that 2nd could be taken by either Oksana or this lady, and it's Ariel Kadar. Ariel is somebody who has made leaps and bounds of improvement this year. Her physique has just gone from strength to strength. She just looks incredible. I don't know how she's done it, but her physique just looks so different to what it did last year, in my opinion. And she has just worked so hard. And again, she's an athlete in the fitness round, which she is definitely acknowledged, but she has yet to really get that top placing. And I want to see Ariel really come out with an amazing top placing that she's very deserving of, because she's been in this sport for a long time. She turned pro when she was 17, and she's just making huge strengths. Like, look at this woman. She's absolutely incredible. So my dark horse win for the Fitness Arnold's US is Ariel Kadar. And then in 1st place, I have to give it to Missy Triscott, who also won the Arnold's last year. She's just absolutely incredible. In terms of physique, I don't think anyone can actually touch Missy at this point. She just is so genetically gifted. And then she also has this skill set with her fitness to be able to take it to that next level. She's also our current reigning Miss Olympia fitness champion, which is absolutely incredible. And again, Missy actually has been at the Arnold's US in 2016, 2017, 2018, 19, and 20. She's back for 21. She's current reigning champion, current Miss Olympia. She's going to be defending her title, and she's definitely going to be going in for the win. I also think think that she is so motivated and driven to be able to win this because John Meadows, her former coach, who recently passed away, I think it really fueled something up inside of her, and it's really motivated her to go for that and do this for him and also to do it for herself too. But I think it's just really lit something up inside of her. So I cannot wait to see what routine Missy brings because she just looks incredible. She's a phenomenal athlete, and I think she is pretty much untouchable at this moment. So dare I say it, I think she might win Olympia too. So you guys, that is my top 5 for the Arnold's US fitness category. And all of these women have done so well to be able to be invited at the Arnold's. I'm just going to run through the names one more time. Jaclyn Baker, Darian Borrella, who was 5th last year, Amanda Ciani, it's her pro debut, so congratulations to you. Oksana, who has been in the game for a really long time. Cannot wait to see what you come up with too. Whitney Jones, super energetic woman. Again, from 2014 up to 2019 in the Arnold's, so she's got a legacy there too. Sally Kendall Williams, Ariel Kadar, Minna Pulhati, who will be making her debut from Finland. And then we've got Missy Triscott, who will be defending her title, as well as Ulrika Taya Gale. So you guys, that is the fitness division. Absolutely cannot wait to see what these women bring to the stage and what they do next. And now we're going to go on to bikini. Now, bikini is pretty much my favorite category ever, and I do love it. So the ladies that have been invited to this year's Arnold's will be Romina Basaldo, who actually won this year. She's qualified for the Olympia. Laura Lee Chapatis, who won Chicago Pro. She is also qualified for the Olympia. Jen Dory, also qualified. Jasmine Gonzalez, who is making her debut. Ashley Koltwasser, Ashley K. Jordan Lee, who is also making her bikini Arnold's debut. Priscilla Lambusha from USA, who came 4th last year, Brina Martinez and Gabrielle Messias, as well as Elisa Pessini. So now we are going to go into my top 5, and I have 6 ladies who... Okay, bikini is really difficult because sometimes to know what they want is quite hard. But in my 5th place, I'm going to go with a dark horse pick, and that's going to be debut runner-up Jasmine Gonzalez, jazzyfresh.ifbb pro, and she is just gorgeous. She just poses like no one else, and she's absolutely stunning. So to you, Jasmine, oh, booty shot, whoopsie, sorry, MD, but we'll show you the posing instead. So Jasmine is just beautiful. She is really making a name for herself in the posing industry, and I am excited to see her do her debut because she's been doing quite a few shows this year and she's looking absolutely stunning. So I definitely think that Jazzy can take this one. But I also think Priscilla, who came 4th last year, will be trying to get a top 5 placing because she, again, is another lady who just looks amazing for bikini. And she is going to want to defend her top 5 placing title there or even win it. So you know what? You never know what's going to happen. But Priscilla, you look absolutely stunning. Cannot wait to see you up on that stage again. But I definitely think you'll be in hopefully top 5, or that's what I am predicting because you look absolutely gorgeous. And then I'm going to go on to my 4th place, which is Jennifer Dory. Now, Jennifer Dory, coached by... Interesting. I think she's no longer coached by them, so I'm not going to say it. But Jennifer Dory, again, somebody who's been working really hard this year. She's just got a phenomenal bikini shape. This is her 2nd Arnold. She's just looking absolutely incredible. So I would like to see Dory in the top 5 because she just looks absolutely stunning. And then in top 3, I'm going to go with current reigning Arnold's champion, Isa Pacini, only because I feel like Isa is gorgeous, but I have a favorite top 2 at this moment in time. So Isa won last year's Arnold's, and she's coming in, she's peaking for this show as well as coming in for the Olympia. I do feel like she was slightly disappointed with her Olympia placing last year. She came in 6th after placing first at both the Arnold's as well as the 2019 Olympia. So she's trying to gain that 1st place back. Oh, coffee. I did actually have a look at that. So good luck to you, Isa, who will be competing this weekend. I would like to see you regain your title and see what happens with you defending that. And then in terms of second as well as first place, this is a really tough one, but to me, it really goes down to two ladies. And for me, second place right now is Ashley Koltwasser, the GOAT of bikini ladies, the OG. I mean, 3 times Miss Olympia champion, Ashley K. So you guys, this lady, who is also doing the Ashley Koltwasser Olympia All-Star Tour in the UK. Head over to Buff Bombshell to check that out if you want to see. But yes, I do believe that Ashley will make the top 5, if not be able to win this or place at least second. She just looks incredible. She's won 30 pro shows. She's won the most amount of bikini pro shows ever. I think that's more than Ronnie Coleman. So she's definitely, you know, she's creating a legacy and she's going down in bikini history. So this is Ashley's time, and who knows, she might win Arnold. And I hope she wins Olympia. So good luck to you, Ashley. Just putting it out there. And then in first place for me for Arnold's, because everyone has been just blown away by Laura Lee, especially Laura Lee's glutes. So I think Laura Lee has definitely improved. She's made, again, leaps and bounds from last year. From her Olympia placing, she came 5th. I don't think it was maybe the placing that she wanted, but she's worked so hard, and she has worked so hard for these glutes this year, and everybody's just been entranced by the Laura Lee Wagon Wednesday hype. So to you, Laura Lee, I think this could be your time, if not your year. But good luck to you, and let's move on from her doing that. But no, she looks absolutely incredible, and yeah, I do think that, you know, it's definitely between Laura Lee and Ashley. So good luck to all of the top 10 ladies who have been invited to the Arnolds. We have, again, Romina Basaldo, Laura Lee Chapatis, Jen Dory, Jasmine Gonzalez, Ashley Koltwasser, Jordan Lee, Priscilla Lambasha, Brianna Martinez, Gabrielle Messias, and Elisa Pacini. And then I also have to shout out 3 bikini ladies who took part in the Arnolds last year. We had Angelica Teixeira, who is now expecting her first child, Alyssa, as well as Attila, who is now judging, and obviously Janet Layug, who came 2nd, 3rd last year at the Arnolds, and she is now retired. So we've got room for new bikini ladies to come in and nab those top 5 placings, and I'm really excited to see who is going to do that. So you guys, that is my top 5 for bikini as well as fitness. I hope that you enjoyed my preview, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Please make sure to follow Muscular Development on YouTube as well as on Instagram, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.